Welcome to Across the Balkans. I'm Nafisa Latic. Great to have you with us. President Xi Jinping says China will never forget the NATO bombing of a Chinese embassy in Belgrade and will never allow such a tragedy to happen again. This week, Xi visited Serbia, one of his closest allies in Europe, as part of his European tour. His arrival to Belgrade coincides with the 25th anniversary of the bombing, which took place during NATO's intervention in the former Yugoslavia and led to the fall of Slobodan Milosevic's brutal regime. The visit came with much symbolism and celebrated this strategic, decades-long partnership. Both leaders stressed that the aim of the visit was to fortify ironclad friendship between China and Serbia.
塞尔维亚成为中国在中东地区首个
8 years ago, Serbia became China's first comprehensive strategic partner in Central and Eastern Europe. Today, Serbia becomes the first European country to build a community with a shared future with China. This speaks volumes about the strategic, special, and high-level relationship between the two countries.
We signed a joint statement that is a strategically important step for developing our bilateral relations and our worldview. The Republic of Serbia and the People's Republic of China are elevating our bilateral relations from strategic to a community that speaks about a joint future of our two countries. This is the biggest and highest formal cooperation between our two countries, and I am proud, as the President of the Republic of Serbia, that I could sign this.
China is Serbia's second largest trading partner after the EU, and the number of its investments in Serbia is on the rise. Back in October, China and Serbia signed a free trade agreement. China for decades has been trying to find opportunities to strengthen ties with the Balkans as part of its Belt and Road initiative. Adam Amunu looks back at the political and economic ties between the two allies.
This is the aftermath of the NATO, specifically a US aircraft bombing, of the former Chinese embassy in Belgrade 25 years ago. 3 Chinese journalists were killed and more than 20 people injured. It happened as part of the alliance's attempt to bring a halt to atrocities committed by Slobodan Milosevic's forces against ethnic Albanians in Kosovo. The US said it was an accident, but the Chinese public was furious. Thousands of Chinese students protested at the US and British embassies. The embassy bombing bonded Serbia and China in their experiences with the West. Economic ties between Belgrade and Beijing have strengthened over the years, with China investing in various sectors of Serbia's economy, including infrastructure, energy, and telecommunications.
塞尔维亚是中国的铁杆朋友，两国钢铁友谊在国际风云变幻中历久弥新，不断焕发出新的生机与活力。近年来，在两国元首战略引领下，中塞关系取得跨越式发展。 保持高水平运行，处于历史最高水平。2016年，习近平主席
And Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić often shares his admiration of Chinese President Xi Jinping. He didn't hide his excitement about Xi's visit to Europe, which apart from France and Hungary, included Serbia.
You know how many times I was asking President Xi to come to Serbia since 2016. I was asking him exactly in different forms, face-to-face, telephone conversations, letters. I was asking him to visit Serbia 15 times, and I cannot explain to you how happy I am.
In 2023, Vučić attended the 3rd high-level forum of the Belt and Road Initiative in Beijing. That is when China and Serbia signed a bilateral free trade agreement. China is Serbia's second largest foreign trade partner, with trade exchanges totaling over $6 billion. Serbian exports to China have surged 185-fold over the past decade. One major investment by China is the Belgrade-Budapest Railway, which is part of China's Belt and Road Initiative, and which Vučić said will be completed by the end of the year.
Meni se čini da će ova posjeta imati pre svega politički značaj. U tom smislu da pokaže možda i Evropi pa i ne znam širem regionu, ne znam da li baš možemo da kažemo svetu, da Kina u Evropi ima jednog pouzdanog partnera. Mislim da je to, kažem, za Kinu je to značajno, iako je Srbija mala, ali prosto mi smo tu jedna stajna tačka za Kinu, za njen prodor u Evropu, do čega je naravno njoj najviše stalo, ali...
But while money matters, so do their political ambitions in the geopolitical landscape, turned on its head by the Ukraine-Russian conflict. Serbia and China have strong ties with Russia, even though both have been careful to express strong support for its actions against its neighbour. Serbia is, however, placed in a much tougher situation because of its ambitions to join the EU. Both countries strongly back each other in their ongoing territorial disputes, which may continue to shape their relationship as they face pressure from the international community.
When you ask us something about previously Hong Kong or today Taiwan, we always have very simple responses because everybody else immediately start creating a big philosophy of their responses. You know, with us, everything is very simple because we know what is the UN Charter, we know how should at least international public order work, and we know that we have a friend. And that's why we always easily say, well, Taiwan is China, full stop, and we believe that President Xi will take care of Taiwan in a very proper way in the future, in a way he wants, in a way Chinese people want.
In return, China has supported Serbia's territorial integrity and sovereignty, particularly on the status of Kosovo, which declared independence in 2008. Fast forward to today, relations between the two remain intact, which could unsettle Western blocs like the EU and shape political dynamics in the Balkans. Adama Munu, across the Balkans.
Let's cross now to our panel in Belgrade. I'm joined by Stefan Vladisavljevic. He's an analyst specializing in foreign influences in the Western Balkans with a focus on the rising Chinese presence in the region. We also have Bojan Lalic, the director of Belt and Road Institute in Belgrade. Bojan, I want to start with you. What is the main message that the presidents of China and Serbia want to send to the EU and the West with this visit?
Actually, we are speaking about a message. The message is for the whole world, not only EU or the Westerns. It's about a continuum of cooperation between China and Serbia and the idea of very strong political understanding, economical growth, infrastructural development, and so there are so many projects, there are so many topics. And as we understood years ago, there is a holistic approach where we have to observe all those things together, creating a special ecosystem for development. But of course, there is a great political message since President Xi is meeting with only three presidents of three countries in Europe.
Then why Serbia as well? Can we say Serbia is China's closest ally or one of the closest allies in Europe at the moment?
We like to say that we are the closest friend of China in Europe. That is much more than ally. And there are some other countries that are also allies of China in Europe, but we consider ourselves as great friends.
Stefan, let me mention a couple of things for our audience to understand the importance of this visit for Aleksandar Vučić, the president of Serbia. More than 3,000 policemen in charge, big MiG planes as part of the entourage. We also have seen state channel interrupting Eurovision broadcast to show Chinese president plane landing in Belgrade. What is Serbia gaining from this ironclad friendship with China, and why is this visit so important for President Vučić?
Well, regarding the first part, when it comes to the level of visit, this is one of the highest levels that you can get as a country, especially as a country that has somewhere around 7 million people. So you don't really get a chance to have this type of leaders coming to your country every day. And therefore, the level of diplomatic approach that Serbia took, including all of the things that you have mentioned, including the security reasons as well, has been quite understandable. What Serbia is getting out of it, well, over the past 15 years, when the contemporary relationship between two countries pretty much starts developing, China has become one of the biggest investors and the biggest investor individual since 2021. And it is also a major provider of financial instruments for the development of infrastructural projects. What has been often repeated these days is that we have a good example of how two countries have cooperated during the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak in Serbia, and how China assisted Serbia in mitigating the issues on its country. So this is a good point in time to consider what is next for two countries and what they can reach together in the time frame ahead of us.
Bojan, what do you think is next for China-Serbia relations? We already know important deals have been signed before, among them free trade agreement. How can this relationship become even closer? And what do you think is the next step?
Well, right now, I think the next step is development structure within the country to use all those mechanisms that we developed in the last couple of years. So it means that in the next period of time, we have to operationalize all agreements and to put them into work in order to have all those KPIs and action plans behind them be fulfilled in the proper time. Free trade agreement is starting to be deployed in 1st of July this year. And within the next 15 years, we're going to have different types of products with the taxation and custom duties decrease till zero.
Mm-hmm. Can we expect more jobs for Serbian people? Will they feel the benefits of these close ties with China?
Well, actually, we know that the big initiative, Belt and Road Initiative, where Turkey is also very present, is creating new jobs, new places for work, and it has now more than 150,000 new working places just thanks to this initiative. Definitely, it is true. And a couple of days ago, we opened another factory in automotive industry close to Novi Sad. And the idea actually is to move from the intensive manual work, to more R&D and to more added value created from the knowledge and from the high-skilled workers, engineers, and others that can bring that 51% of the added value. So we can call some products Serbian products. That's very important because Serbia has different agreements with many countries around, like Eurasian Union, like Turkey, of course, then CEFTA, then Russian Federation, and with different quotes with European Union, means that when a product is mostly produced in Serbia, can be exported in all those countries and region with the special custom relaxation and taxes.
Having all this in mind, Stefan, did Serbia demonstrate that China, not Russia, is its most important ally in the East at the moment?
We are very well aware about Serbia's position when it comes to foreign policy, and while we often hear from the officials that primary foreign policy goal is the membership of European Union, for Serbia that is not an obstacle to develop partnership with the countries from the East as well. And traditionally, Russia has been the one that has been referred as the most important one. But following the outbreak of the Russian aggression in 2022 in Ukraine, things have changed. Serbia has not officially induced any sanctions, has somewhat different position on Russia than a European Union or United States have, but it has definitely distance itself enough not to be seen as someone who supports Russia, including the condemning the attacks within the United Nations General Assembly resolutions that have been adopted. With all that in mind, there are important diplomatic efforts for Serbia as a country where China has become increasingly important partner with some distancing from Russia happening. There is pretty much no readouts from the official meetings that do not highlight the importance of principle of territorial integrity for both Serbia and China.
Let me finish with you, Bojan, and talk about the region itself. How do you see China's strategy towards the Balkans at the moment, and how it's significant for China to have such a reliable partner on the European continent?
Every reliable ally is important nowadays, because political arena in the worldwide is quite tough, and if you're speaking from the side of Serbia, we're full of injustice and different criteria for different countries. So it's very important. And for China, I think they are not making some kind of special arrangements with different regions. Definitely, it's important for all strategy worldwide that we are not approaching. We are already in the multipolar world, definitely today, and in that sense, a new connection between countries must be replaced from the old one that is some zero game where somebody is losing, somebody is winning, to win-win cooperation. And when you have a win-win cooperation where we are taking care that both sides, no matter how big they are, they can gain from any contract, from any memo of understanding, whatever we are signing, then we are on the good road to shared future, as President Xi said.
I want to thank both of you for being our guests on Across the Balkans on this visit. Thank you so much, and see you again next time.